Hello and welcome to MagicGatheringStrat. This is Tobias doing a decktech video on my new deck. It's called Rakdos Tokens and it is very cheap, as you can see here. It's a pauper deck and, well, most of the cards have converted mana cost 1 and there are some converted mana cost 2 cards. And the reason for me to build this deck are two fantastic new cards, new to me because I didn't play Pauper for some time. Tongue Shriek obviously works very well if you have a lot of attacking creatures, and it will gain you life and it will make your opponent lose life, and it costs only 1 mana and it's so fantastic. Only problem is that it's black and that you have to play 2 colors because there are no good black token creation cards. And the second card that made me build this deck is Impact Tremors, because it interacts with tokens so well, because whenever a creature comes hits the battlefield under my control, it deals 1 damage to my opponent, and it is just a 2-drop, and this is so much better than Raid Bombardment or something like this, and it's so quick and great and just a nice card. And I wanted to build a deck with these 2 cards, and this is the outcome. And you can see here a lot of 1 mana artifacts, and you can see that I run Great Furnace and Vault of Whispers, and these artifact lands are in because of Kuldota Rebirth, because it's one of the best token generating spells in the format, in my opinion, because you get 3 1/1 goblin tokens onto the battlefield, and the so-called drawback is that you have to sacrifice an artifact. And I'm running artifacts like Chromatic Star and Terrarion that let you draw cards when you sacrifice them, and they can act as mana fixers, and because of this I don't play tap lands that produce both colors of mana, because these can fix my mana, and I don't want to have lands that enter the battlefield tapped, because I have a very low curve. And I'm a big fan of Panic Spellbomb because it can also draw your card, but it prevents the big guy from blocking, and it sometimes can end the game pretty quickly, so it's a great card. So I already showed you Kuldota Rebirth as a token generator. The next token generator is the Morg War Marshal, and Morg War Marshal is great because it brings 3 creatures onto the battlefield itself, 1 token, and then the token that comes in the battle onto the battlefield when he dies, and this will trigger Impact Tremors 3 times, and most of the time you have him as a blocker, so it's great. And the last token generator is Dragon Fodder, which brings you 2 tokens for 2 mana without any drawback. Sorcery speed is the only bad thing about this, and because you have so many tokens, there is a wonderful card to interact with the token. It's Bushwhacker. Bushwhacker gives you tokens haste if it's kicked, and it just finishes games really, really quickly. And the last 2 cards is Foundry Street Denizen, because he gets pushed so much for tokens entering the battlefield, and I would like to play 4 of them, and maybe I will cut the lands down to 18 and run 4 copies of Foundry Street Denizen. I think it might be worth it. And the last card is the card that should be in every red deck, I guess. It's Lightning Bolt, because it deals with blockers, it goes directly to the dome, and it can end the game. So this is the main deck, and it's working pretty good. Here is the sideboard. Nihil Spellbomb is a good choice for the sideboard because it draws you cards when it dies, it deals with the graveyard, and I'm running 3 of these. Giant Baiting is neat against other decks that don't interact too much but play a lot of creatures that can block your tokens, and this way you can have tokens that attack and trigger Impact Tremors and have to be blocked, and you got the creatures to Conspire, and it's good against some control decks, maybe. Pyroblast, because you have to be able to counter spells, and Electrickery for the mirror match and for many other matches as usual, and Durers again against control. And the last card is against mirror match, not against mirror matches, against Ulamog's Crusher, but you can use it to sacrifice your own goblin, because its target player sacrifices a goblin, and you can target yourself. And if you sacrifice a goblin, you get 2 goblins with haste onto the battlefield that will trigger your impact tremors, and that's the reason for playing Warren Weirding over Chainless Edict or Diabolic Edict. So in this deck, I think Warren Weirding is great. Okay. That's it. I hope you enjoy the videos I'm going to make with this deck. As I said, it's work in progress as always, and I will be trying to run 4 copies of Foundry Street Denizen with 18 lands. And well, see you soon. Bye bye and have fun.